for a few years on the stage.
I think the point is here tonight, though, we've got a tremendous match in prospect, haven't we? Because it's a live match, 2-0 down. Liverpool at home. They've got chances. We can't be too pessimistic about it.
They have got chances. Yeah, I'm only stating the facts as you look at that very young team in many cases, lack of experience and things like that. I'm stating the professional view, but football's about heart and emotion, and maybe they can rise to it tonight.
Liverpool players tonight have got to stand up and be counted.
Well, there's the cop. And what about those young players, though, like McManaman and Marsh and Tanner and people like this that haven't been in the team very much or very long? How do they feel going out there for a tie like this, do you think, tonight? Are they confident, boys?
Well, they will be confident. They've been playing all season. Obviously, the team hasn't been going that well. It'll be up to the more experienced players to help them through it. The most important thing for me would be the first 10 minutes, not to let those Auxerre players settle at all. And then, as I said, get them frustrated, and the mistakes will definitely occur.
Okay, thanks Alan, thanks Jimmy. Let's sit back and enjoy it now, and our match commentators are Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Tremendous reception for the Liverpool team from the Kop, and the Kop have a part to play this evening, there's no doubt about that. Let's just check again that Liverpool lineup. The two changes compared with the first leg, Jan Mulby and Mike Marsh in the starting lineup. Marsh was a substitute in the first game, in place of the injured Steve Nicol and the youngster Jamie Redknapp. As for the French, well, they've only had to make one change, forced on them by the suspension to William Prunier, who was booked in the first leg, his second booking of the competition. So in his place comes Darras, which might mean a change of role for Mrs. Kazmarek and Roux. Well, 2-0 it was in the first leg to the French. A 2-0 thrashing it was described, and it certainly would have been that, but for this man, Bruce Robillard, who had an outstanding game then, and will not be wanting to see too much of the ball this evening. In contrast, Liverpool will want to stir this man just a little bit. Bruno Martini, who barely touched the ball except for back passes in the first match. See the wind ruffling his hair. Wind always a problem, and it is quite strong and a bit of a swirling wind, Trevor Brooking.
It is, and it's one of those occasions though where Liverpool, I think, have got to try and revert back and as Alan Hansen said, get that possession game that was so apparent in their memorable years in Europe, and it was such a feature that they seemed one week to play in English football with that slightly faster pace, and then midweek adjust to the sort of European scene where it is a patient, a slower game. But perhaps this evening, that first 10 or 15 minutes, they must pressurise Auxerre into realising it's not going to be quite the same as that first leg. And the noise of the Kop, in good voice at the moment, I'm sure will play its part, as we say. And that opening 10 minutes, if they can create one or two chances, get one or two finishes and test the goalkeeper, who knows what can happen. But I must say myself, Auxerre are going to be a very difficult proposition.
All the officials come from Portugal. The referee, Carlos Alberto da Silva Valente, and his two linesmen, Vitor Emanuel Fernandes Correas and Antonio Manuel Miranda de Souza. And Liverpool are playing from the Kop end in the first half. That's the way they would want it. Ball at the feet of the Hungarian Kovac. And to his left is Ferreri. And they're the scorers of the two goals in Auxerre. Long pause from the Portuguese referee. He's not going until it says the right time. And when we do go, the kick-off was actually illegal because two players were in the wrong half of the French side, but no matter. Early touch for Gobala. And Liverpool's least experienced team trying to do what more famous predecessors have not previously managed to do. Come back from a 2-goal deficit. Four times they tried, including the Super Cup, and 4 times they failed. But even so, Liverpool's hope is in their heritage. They have to, and their numbered shirts wear numbers worn by the more famous in their attitude and their application. Burrows to Walters. Walters recovered from a groin strain, missed out on Saturday. Ablitz looking long for Rush. Ablitz saying that his form has disappointed him as well as those who would wish him better. And much more than most for one recovery to be made. Burrows and Kaká. And Burrows are judged to have pushed. Anfield is by no means packed, but the Kop end is pretty full, and the noise seems fairly vintage. Kaká is onside. Bit of a split scissor kick by Bruce Grobbelaar, just in case Kaká wanted to come too close.
He's so intent on doing his karate kick there, he forgot about his throw out. But just from a formation point of view, Mike Marsh is in fact playing right back, and he'll have an important job because Roux down the left was very talented over in Auxerre, and so it's a big responsibility for him to keep him quiet. And Rush is playing up by himself with McManaman more than anyone going to be joining him. But Mulby and McMahon together in central midfield.
Here's McManaman, followed by Mahé. From man-for-man marking. McManaman has gone down the middle. Mahé has gone with him. Now they come out to the left, and it's stride for stride all the way. And McManaman gets away, and a strict penalty. Mahé the challenge from behind. And he's staying down because he got a kick in the calf. But the penalty with only 3 minutes on the stopwatch. They followed each other quite a distance. There the ball was won. Mahé felt that he might have been clobbered a bit, went there and caught back of ankle rather than calf. And the referee, who was well placed, had absolutely no doubt about it at all. That's the stuff of dreams, isn't it?
Well, I just know I wouldn't like to take the penalty, that's for sure, but it's just the start they needed. It was a penalty. It just stumbled the defender when he first went to get possession, which enabled McManaman to actually get in front of him, and he actually took his foot back to have a shot, and then he lunged in for the tackle and caught it on the downswing before he'd made a connection, and it was a penalty. He went down.
And the man with the responsibility is the big Dane, Jan Mulby, only just back in the side. Rarely can there have been a more important strike for Liverpool. Gives an indication of the wind and the further test to the nerves. Mulby against Martini, and Liverpool lead. Cracking penalty, curled right on top of the handbag in the corner of the net.
Quite amazing. Whatever he was thinking at this moment, I don't know, but he must have been totally relieved. The keeper goes the right way, a bit of a teaser, but it got past him into the corner, and just the start needed. Amazing.
I'm inclined to think that might be the first direct shot that French goalkeepers had to face in this tie over the two legs. And it's changed the atmosphere of the whole contest. The prayer was for an early goal, and the prayer has been answered. Well, the French nerve would react. Was always going to be a factor, and to go down so early really emphasises that. And the contrast between here and up at Parkhead, Charlie Nicholas has just missed the penalty for Celtic. Would you believe it? They've got even a harder task than at Liverpool. It's good play by McManaman. Clearly going to be the pattern. The ball played up to played up to Rush rather. He'll want support coming from both sides, and the nippy Walters should be the first to show. Charanjan Kazmarek. Free kick has been given, and a huge divot out of the Anfield turf. McMahon. Walters. Marked by Darras is Walters.
Early on, and you can see with Mark Walters' shirt there, the wind is more than not behind the Liverpool players. And there's got 2 or 3 through balls already that have gone over the top and then zipped through and gone off the goal kick. So it's going to be important for Liverpool to make sure they don't overhit those with the wind behind them.
Tanner. There's Marsh. Molby. Bit off the shins, but it worked. And then he was rushed out of it. This is Peretti. And Courage, good save! Taking up where he left off in France. Here's Grobbelaar. Free kick. Wonderful save. He timed the challenge so well. Got away, and that's an indication, though, that Liverpool, having made this fine start, does not let the blood go to their heads too much. Because they were caught then by a very quick break, and they should know from the match in Auxerre how quick the 2 wingers and the centre forward, I think we're entitled to call him, is. McManaman. Kazmarek, it's a goal kick. Animated Graeme Souness, and possibly about this, Kovac got an opportunity, he thought, and Grobbelaar right down at his feet, parried as the shot came in.
Always a danger, because Liverpool do play quite flat across the back, and they were just caught on the break, running from deep, and Ferreri got out wide, played a super ball across the face, and Kovac, to his intent, I would have thought, did everything right, side-footed it towards goal, but Bruce Grobbelaar spread himself superbly and just carrying on from where he left off in the first leg.
They played 10 minutes of the second leg, and Liverpool lead 1-0. 2-1 down now on the aggregate score. By Roux being given no chance to build on that left touchline. Marsh, his challenger. Tanner concedes the corner. There's no other option. Determined look in the eyes of Nicky Tanner. Jean-Marc Peretti has gone to take it. Experienced French international, though he hasn't been in the side for a year. Hoping to get back. Coquin on this side, a good claim by Grobbelaar. Ablett, McMahon, Mulvey, another good pass. That's well delivered, but he's offside. In fact, by Roux. Graeme Souness' volume is on a par with that of the cop, and he's only got one voice. McMahon. Well, Mulvey tried it, McMahon tried it, neither was successful. That's a free kick against Nicky Tanner. Roux starting off hugging that left touchline. That was one of the features of the first leg with the Auxerre team. Auxerre, as they pronounce it in Auxerre. Auxerre and most of the rest of France. Coquin is up, so is Roux. No one near there. Well watched header. It's far too strong from Rush. He scratches his head, and I'm not surprised. Mistake by Roux, who's taken over the captaincy from Prunier. Marsh. Ablett. Burrows. Played by McMahon. And nearly a good pass, but the flag had gone up for offside. The run by McManaman to look for the pass of McMahon. Steve McManaman played against Port Vale, but has missed 2 league games since the first leg of this tie, needing the rest. Well up by Marsh. To win certainly at Liverpool's backs, that was clearly seen then. Rush to McManaman. Good challenge by Mahi that time. Here they are together again. Mulvey. Passing so far is a little bit obvious from Dan Mulvey. Free kick against Ablett, which seemed a little harsh. Kovac making a close inspection of the turf. I think he was a bit surprised to find him coming in. It was a bit of a jump, to be fair, but didn't actually touch the player as far as I could see.
I'm not sure. I think that was a dreaded dead leg there. When you go in for the tackle, sometimes the old knee goes into the thigh, and that one does stiffen up.
Strong challenges, and a certain amount of jumping up and down. Top certainly adding to the atmosphere. Well kept in by Mark Walters. Hasn't got away from Dallas. There's a double marking. As Marak was the extra man. Different role for him. Playing as the man at the back. Kovac asks for attention, but the referee says if you want it, go off. McMahon is down as well, and he wants attention. sure how many people are sympathetic with Kovac, but Trevor Brooking is, because he certainly saw the old professional's trick, as it were.
I've had a few dead legs. If you get the old kneecap in the thigh, once the old physiotherapist gets his fingers into it, he won't be too lively in the next couple of days either.
Seconds being wasted, and the referee doesn't like that, and he's taken the name of Dallas. Frederic Dallas goes into the book, and the French may well feel at the moment that the man from Portugal is a little hard on them. McMahon. Marnes fell fairly awkwardly against the boarding around the ground, but I don't think he's any the worse for wear. So the match on the boarding might have come off the worst. Outlets. And Kovac, still feeling the injury, is hobbling off for attention. That's a free kick. Rush on Ferreri. Proof that Trevor Brooking is right. There it was.
Get him off the pitch.
Via Roux. Second corner for Auxerre. I think Ferreri might just wait to see if Kovac can come back into the action or not. He's back on the field, but about 30 yards out. Not quite what Tanner intended, but it fell kindly. So it's to be hoped that he can run that off. I'd like to think that's a sentiment which will be appreciated in Merseyside, but I'm not 100% sure about it. Here's McMahon. And Walters. Martini has come to meet him and doesn't make a particularly good attempt initially. He got it the second time around. Martini currently the #1 choice of Michel Platini. And Kovac is to take no further part. And he's to be replaced by Didier Otakore. Walters cross. And it was McManaman shot, and Tanner who got up. Paul had quite a long journey on the roof. Jan Mulvey is going to take it, so it could well be a long one, longish. Ferreri wanting it to drop out, and it didn't. Rush didn't get there. Roux was ahead of him. McMahon. Burrows. "20 minutes gone. Liverpool having pulled back one of the 2 goals they conceded from the first leg. And if you've joined us late, I think it's fair to say I should tell you that Liverpool playing a great deal better than they played in France. but then their manager might feel that that wouldn't be too difficult. But they're doing the job that he would have asked them to do.
No, they're much sharper all the way around. I mean, they've had disappointing results in the league, and Graeme Souness hasn't had a lot of choice of the side he could play this evening because of the foreign rule, but the goal has done them a world of good, given them that confidence, and there's a lot of determination, and I think Auxerre now know where Anfield is.
Free kick is given. Dutuel is going to take it. I have a feeling that's the first time I've mentioned his name, and he was such a factor in France. Well, one presumes from the pace of that was a shot. If it was going wide from about a foot after being struck. On by Roux, nice header. McManaman, Ray Houghton had come in. Auxerre. Ball was out. Which you can see, I think, from that little moment, that he's another French player who enjoys being in possession and taking people on. Molby. Manaman. That's the tightest contest, I think, between those two, McManaman and May. Houghton losing out to Guerrero. McMahon. Walters. Got back to get the challenge. And Rush had moved across. Burrows. Good play by Molby. McMahon. And as the shot came in, as you can see, we've got a little bit of bother by somebody who wanted to join the goalkeeper. If this ball had got into the net. Having to readjust the netting. Just a couple of rather stupid people whose names will be noted by the police, which will be ignored by everybody else. Manaman goes away and takes May for company. It's good play. Burrows just couldn't take it with him. Kaká made a great deal of that. Burrows is booked for it. Well, he suggested with his delay at the start, the Portuguese referee, that he was going to be very precise. But Kaká here was a spinning top, beloved of French children.
I mean, David Burrows just swung round in the hope of connecting with the ball and got the faintest of clips, and as you say, Coca went down tumbling, and unfortunately Burrows has got booked. But I think down the left-hand side, Mark Walters, who, when Darris, who's marking him this evening, came on at half-time, Mark Walters definitely had the beating of him in the first leg, and I think if they can get the service out to him early to his feet and he can run at that defender, Darris, I think that might be the opening. Liverpool can create a chance.
Mulvey. Mulvey. He's added something different to the side, Jan Mulvey. Not everything he's tried has come off, but the experience is there, taking the heat out of things. The little passes, a little heavier than he used to be. And he's always been fairly big. This is Ferreri. Factor only once so far. And the free kick's been given against Burrows. You can only assume for a little push or pull. Correa. Play by Mike Marsh. Houghton. Held it up nicely, found space nicely, found McMahon well. Free kick against May. It was a bit of a hospital ball. And the youngster didn't flinch. Free kick now. Against Darras. David Burrows needing to clear the head a bit. If Liverpool are successful, he won't be in the next match. That's an academic point at this juncture. All's out. Turner. Marsh. Play it long, says Houghton. He does, looking for Rush. All the time has had Alain Roux for company. And this time McManaman is the guilty party and knew it. The pole. A year ago he captained his country against England at Wembley, but won't be playing against England next week on home soil. Walters, the moment that he let it come by the side of him, he was a loser. Ablett. That's Marek, spare man. And again. Dane does seem to have that happy knack of being in the right place at the right time so often. Houghton, nobody left side. Now Burrows offers. Two on the far post, one of them is Rush. McManaman's now come across to the near. Mulvey not going to take the serve. Here's McManaman. Houghton. Mulvey is square. And the return ball comes in for Houghton. And Marsh scores! It's taken just half an hour to square the tie. Mulvey's wonderful pass Houghton, the instant cross. Marsh, the decisive header.
Well, it's a superb ball from Jan Molby. Good floated cross by Ray Houghton, and credit to Mike Marsh. Heads it down, perfect header, goalkeeper no chance. But Jan Molby has provided the subtlety that that man used to provide a few years ago.
Well, as I suggested, he's been such a factor. Huge experience. Liverpool's secret in the past was all about passing the ball, and that's how that goal was achieved. McManaman makes the run to the right.
Roux was here for the match against Crystal Palace when Liverpool lost for the first time at home under Graeme Souness. Said he wanted to sample the atmosphere of Anfield and went away saying that it's not going to concern us too much, but it's a very different atmosphere when it's European football being played here particularly. And he knows different tonight. It's all square at 2 apiece. But still, in the mind, Liverpool must be conscious that if the French were to score, that is an away goal. Here's Rush. Good save by Martini. He was offside anyway. The flag was a little late. Here Rush is caught.
The French defence a little bit rattled now, and of course they're missing their skipper Prunier, who was booked in the first leg, and there's no doubt his influence at the moment would have helped settle them down, because 2-0, 35 minutes into the first half, I think is beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
French are being hurried. They have never been allowed to play the game at their pace. They make good use of changes of pace, as they showed a fortnight ago. But this time the whole match has been played at Liverpool's pace. Yellow card shown, and the recipient was Mike Marsh. There's the missing skipper in the white coat, William Prunier. Roux. Coquard. Wild challenge by Ablett.
I think Ablett's looked sometimes worse than it was, because Roux, who has switched down the middle now since Kovac has gone off, did tumble again, and that is something I think the referee's got to be conscious of. The French team definitely don't mind a tumble at the wrong time, and Liverpool themselves, having picked up a couple of bookings, seems the referee doesn't hang about before bringing the card out, so certainly don't want a red card.
Walters taking on Dadas. Free kick against Rush. Play the man, not the ball. Ian Rush, 3 goals short of Roger Hunt's record. 17 goals in Europe, Roger Hunt scored. Into the last 10 minutes of what so far has been a very good half for Liverpool. Marsh and
McMahon tackling each other. That wasn't a bad attempt by Ferreri because Grobbelaar was well forward. Ray Houghton doing a good job. Mulvey. Auxerre. Miss kick by Roux. Good challenge by Evlid after his error. And a definite escape for Liverpool, and in particular for Gary Ablett. He made the initial error, but all credit to him. He won a crunching tackle which saved the situation that he created.
Cross came from the left-hand side, and unfortunately for Gary Ablett, he's sort of naturally left-footed, and the cross came to his right, and he went to whack it clear, and it scuffed off his boot, and as you say, then he did block the initial shot, but it was a lucky escape. A goal conceded now just before half-time would be disastrous.
Free kick for that challenge by Marsh on Auxerre. Houghton. McManaman is on his own. Part of young man's education, Steve McManaman. Man-to-man marking by Stefan Mai. Walters. Dallas trying to get there first. Houghton. Difficult bounce. Well done by Ablett. Mulvey. Just a bit too long for Rush.
That type of ball over the top by Mulvey in the second half would hold up in the wind, and they might have more joy when he's making those sort of runs and can run onto them, as I say, when they do hold up and don't run through to the keeper.
Duel trying to get Auxerre away. Tanner. Rush. Walters. McManaman. McMahon. Mulvey. Spare man is Burrows. 5 involved in this attack. Handball. Good spot by the referee. I think the Dane would have taken action if he hadn't spotted it, but it was a good spot.
I think it was impossible to see for the referee to see, but I think Jan Mulvey loomed over him appealing, and he thought, right, I'll give it.
You're not suggesting he couldn't see around Mulvey's physique, are you, Trevor? No, I wonder whether Mulvey would think about a curler here. Judging by Houghton's position, it might just be a little push-up. It's now crowded so much. They pull away, and he gets a deflection, and that is a very good save by Martini. Well, in the end, his intention was pretty obvious, and the deflection was tough on the goalkeeper, who got down extremely well. Walters.
lost control of it. Into the last 5 minutes of a half in which Liverpool have scored twice to square the aggregate at 2-all. A peel away by the Liverpool players, left the gap, came off the end man on the wall, and was a very good save.
It was a terrific save, because it was the worst possible for a goalkeeper, just hitting the grass a couple of yards in front of you, and then it zips off, and they did very well to keep his eye on the ball.
Possession. Tanner has joined Rush on a line with the far post. Morris will take it. Mulby's gone into the box as well. I've got 4 there. McMahon. Rush! And we're looking for the offside flag, but the linesman was absolutely level. Maybe Rush was too, and these days that's good enough.
He just seemed to hesitate fractionally. He got a yard away from his marker, and whether he just didn't wait for the whistle, I don't know, but in the end he got shut down, and the shot was half blocked.
Ball really curled back from that clearance. And if anything, has got stronger as the half has gone on. Auxerre. Side doesn't look anything like as well balanced, the French side, without Kovac. Auxerre, for the record, born in France, but his parents were born in the Ivory Coast. Ferreri. It's done well, but not well enough, and that's the goal kick. McMahon. Looking for Walters. Takes it well. Barrow's just inside. Free kick again. And every time Walters has turned, Darris has got a foot in. Complaints from the Liverpool bench. Phil Borsma getting a bit cross with the referee, and the referee wants to talk to him. And Souness, I think, interceding, trying to calm things down. Borsma seemed to be saying that's the 5th time that sort of challenge has been made on Walters. And now the official law is getting involved. Three against 4, and Martini with a good claim. Mulby available for the throw. We're into the last minute of the half. And the free kick is given.
Oh, what a terrific half it's been. Liverpool had the disappointments in these opening 2 or 3 months of the season, but this has to be, I would think, the best performance so far. Souness must be delighted, and the key difference is they just haven't allowed the French team the space that they had and enjoyed in the first leg, and they are very much ball players, and if they are given space there are problems, but they haven't had it on this occasion.
Good play by Walters and then by McMahon, but not on that occasion by Mulby. By Roux. Dutuel. It was Mulby who blocked. Would have been a corner if it had gone out. That wasn't the best of clearances. Advantage of the spare defender. He's such a demanding, appealing face, the manager.
be a fairly harsh one too from time to time. Walters. Free kick given. No, corner given. Just about be time for it. A little bit of trying, the referees allowing for stoppages. And Rush trying to get there, but pushed too soon. Gets a bit of a lecture. And maybe he says he doesn't understand Portuguese. The message is fairly clear, but there are none so deaf as those who don't want to hear. McMahon. And that's the last action of the half. Great applause for the Liverpool team. Graeme Souness waiting to greet them. Marsh, the scorer at the second goal, after Jan Molby had scored the first after only 3 minutes. And I suppose the first part of the job has been done. The deficit from the first leg has been wiped out.